Welcome, welcome, Ellen.
Thank you.
Bill. Super grateful you're here. Happy Catter Day, everybody. I call Saturday Catter Day, and it's not so much that it's the cat's day, it's the day where I get to be like a cat.
I love that.
A little lazier and have
That's
cat
right. Yeah, that's right.
yeah, given the current energies, I've been milking it today. We did get outside for a forest, so FORREST. So instead of forest bathing, we just go out for rest,
Yeah.
and a beautiful couple hours out in the rainforest here in North Vancouver, and it was so mossy and so green and so
Oh,
spring.
cool.
Such a good reset feeling.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd be curious in the chat what everyone else is doing to keep themselves grounded during these current energies, because they are flying high per se. I just want to speak quickly. Thursday, there's many of us that are going, something's going on. Something's going on we can't see yet, but we can feel it. And so I'll leave that there. In the meantime, we've got Carmela here, Cured by Cannabis. Many of you do know her. And we've got Bill here, who assisted Carmela in her healing. And it's from Zero High. And so the word says it all, Zero High. And I think, Bill, tell us a little bit about yourself. Start there, and then we'll swing over to Carmela.
Okay, well, I guess I started this journey of the medical side back in about 2015, looking to help myself, and got my first ACMPR license to grow for myself, and was quite excited. And I was dealing with quite a few medical issues back then. I had COPD, I had irritable bowel syndrome, cannabis hyperemesis syndrome, some weird rashes I used to deal with, all kinds of stuff. So I decided to look into the medical side and find out, okay, what's all this stuff all about? So, and learned about making tinctures of this and that. So I looked into one for my stomach and made one, and it helped instantly. I was quite amazed. I was like, okay, well, that's pretty dang cool. And just started telling people about it. I didn't really know anything medical about it at that time. I just, okay, well, this worked though. So I started kind of giving it to my friends and stuff like that, and read more into it. Okay, now it's supposed to work good for pain. So we developed the pain salve, and it worked very quickly also, and it just kind of stepped like that. So in 2018, I was still dealing with COPD. I ended up in the hospital numerous times, and I was just getting tired of going to the dang hospital and being on oxygen and inhalers and whatnot. So I said, well, I should start looking into myself again. And it's because I was trying to help a lot of people at that time, trying to educate people a little bit about what this stuff can do. So, okay, well, let's look into COPD and what I got to do to help it. So I did that. I made a tincture for it. And in about 4 days, I had my COPD gone. I haven't dealt with a symptom since. That was about 6 years ago now. So then that kind of really opened my eyes. It's like, and then people were starting to ask me, okay, well, why is this doing this? Why is this doing this? So I figured I better start educating myself and get some courses. So I took my master's in cannabis in 2019. That was through the Cannabis Training Center out of Boston, I believe. In 2021, I went to the cannabis, got my cannabis health specialist diploma. That was at Elevated Learning Academy through Calgary. And then 2022, I took the Ganjier course curriculum. I haven't been down for the testing yet or whichever. But more through this whole time is just making tinctures and salves. So back in 2019, I actually developed a process to make the tinctures where they were effective all the time, very, very consistent. And then I went and tried to put a patent on the process of making them, and then just started trying to share and educate people about their endocannabinoid system and why they need to be feeding this system. Yeah, and it just really all started from there.
Okay, cool. So I don't think many people know about the endocannabinoid system. Do you want to just tap onto it? You don't have to deep dive
Okay,
it.
so So our endocannabinoid system, everybody has it. All mammals have them. Anything with blood running through their body has an endocannabinoid system. The only thing that doesn't actually is insects. So everything has one: dogs, cats, birds, everything. But what it does is it modulates and regulates all the other systems in our body, like our musculatory system, our skeletal system, our respiratory system. We got 7 different systems that regulate or in our bodies. And it's just kind of a master system that helps balance and regulate. It doesn't control, but just keeps it in balance. So now in the endocannabinoid system, your 2 main receptors are your CB1 receptor and your CB2 receptor. Your CB1 receptor, it is affected by either anandamide, which is your body's form of THC. So that's why the plant THC works with that receptor. And then the CB2 receptor is activated by your CBD, or 2AG, they call it, and that's our body's form of it. I'm not going to try to pronounce the big 20-letter word that they got for it, so we'll just go with the 2AG. So once you start feeding your endocannabinoid system, because we haven't been able to feed it forever. It's been illegal since 1923. They outlawed cannabis and hemp and all that. So none of us have really been able to feed this system. So if you look over time, you can see gradually everybody's getting sicker and sicker, and there's more disease and more cancer and more everything. And this is coming from not feeding this system, because everything's out of balance. So disease, actually, there isn't really. It's not even real. It's more just an imbalance in different areas in their bodies, and they just named them different and called it a disease. But it's an imbalance in your body. Yeah. So once you figure out what area of the body that we're dealing with, which receptors that we're dealing with, what if you're in pain or if you're anxiety or depression or things like that, then we can administer the THC or the CBD. Or even the CBC to balance that area in your body, as well as it's going to help all the other areas in your body too, and you're not even really going to know it, because there's trillions of these receptors in your body. It's the main balancing of your whole body, basically. That's the easiest way to put it. So now when the endocannabinoids are in your body, they kind of appear when they're needed, and when they're not, they just kind of disappear back into your body's system. So ready to go to the next receptors that they're called to, and when you got inflammation or any kind of imbalance going on. So they're there immediately, and then when they're not needed, they're back into your natural system. It's not like prescriptions or pharmaceuticals where they start building up and causing other issues. So now they have that issue to deal with, because you just made another imbalance in another area of your body.
Yeah,
so our body requires these, right? And you're right, nobody knows about them. The doctors are just learning about them, and I hear that some of the pharmaceutical people are actually going to and take some courses about cannabinoids and the endocannabinoid system, and how to administer them to people and educate some people about it and use them properly, instead of filling them full of all the pharmaceutical drugs that we've got going around. That's a huge problem right now.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Carmela, you're up next, but just 1 second, because I found the endocannabinoid system is fascinating, intricate part of the human physiology that plays a crucial role in maintaining homeostasis within your body. It's so integral to your well-being and functions in a way that is both mysterious and profound, reflecting the complexity of the body's internal balance. And so it has to do with the lipids, which I found was interesting. So for those of you that would like more info on that, I did post that in the Telegram group. But yeah, I never knew about it. That's new to me. But I do know that this avatar is pretty freaking amazing what it can do. It can heal itself, given the right support, which is what we're talking about today. And Carmela, you want to talk about your story? Because Carmela, how did you meet Bill? And then share your story about your healing journey.
Sure. So I'm going to try and keep it tight because my story is huge, and this is why I have my own show and talk about all the different details of like all my things. But I'll keep it short and sweet.
You're good.
So basically, for about 12 years of my life, I was diagnosed with 5 disabilities that were like kind of forever and like stamped disabled. And so endometriosis stage 4 was one of them. That was the biggest kind of issue in my life at that time. And it was requiring surgery after surgery after surgery, basically laparoscopic down in my stomach. And then I was just in so much pain every single month with my basic period that I would end up in the hospital on morphine, and then got immune to morphine, was on Toradol. Like, it was just really bad. And then amongst 4 other disabilities, like osteoarthritis, fibromyalgia, TMJ, like depression, anxiety, suicidal, infertility, like so many things I was going through. And I was just so done with life and just ready to end it all. And I literally had met my beautiful husband, Al, who is Bill's friend. And so he introduced me to Bill, and he was telling me about their tinctures. And I was like, yeah, I've tried everything. And they were like, but you haven't tried Bill's stuff. And I was like, no, I've tried everything. You don't understand, man. Like, the level of pain I'm at, you don't understand. So anyways, this one day came where I had a Zoom meeting with my gynecologist in Vancouver, and she was a new one. And she was like, hey, so we're going to do your 4th surgery. It's going to be a hysterectomy, and it's going to be so exciting. And I was like, whoa, what? Like, no. And I was like in tears, and I was just bawling my eyes, and I was like, I can't do this. This is not happening. Like, I haven't had kids yet. I'm under 30. Like, you can't do this to me. And so I ended the Zoom call with her, I think before I ended the Zoom call with her, I looked at Al and I said, Kate, call Bill. And I looked back at her and I was like, I'm going to try something else. I'll get back to you. And then ended the Zoom call with her. And I said, you call Bill right now. And I did not want that hysterectomy. And sure enough, like months after calling Bill, I was like, what? Oh my gosh, I don't need drugs anymore. I don't need painkillers anymore. I don't need my hormone Lupron drug that I was on, which is very like gene changing, like turning me into a man. It was so terrifying what they were doing to my body to fix my endo, which was like period pain or whatever. No. Anyway, so I went on Bill's stuff, and just one thing after another started peeling off. And I was like, what? Like, I used to live in chronic pain disorder. I have no pain. Like, I kept waking up every morning going like, is this what normal people feel like every day? Like, they have no pain. What? Like, this is amazing. And so then, yeah, it just got so much more amazing to the point that I was like, I've been told my whole life, write a story, write a book. Like, you have such a crazy story. But I was like, I have no happy ending. And now that I'm like, I have a happy ending, like, this is why I do my show. This is why I tell my story. And I just want to tell people there's hope. Like, you know, literally, fuck Big Pharma, they are killing you. Like, they just want to kill you. And Bill saved my life, like, gave me my life back, gave me hope. So thank you, Bill. I love it. I gave my boobs back. Like, sorry, Bill. I was like, I try not to say it, but I'm gonna say it. I was like, you always make a blush every time. And I was like, but like, you have no idea. That turned me into a man, that hormone. I had flat from a 34 double D. And as a woman, like, that does a lot to you. And it was horrible. And so to have my tits back, I'm like, thanks, Bill. You're amazing. But among so many other things. So thank you, Bill. I owe my life to you forever and ever. I am forever your servant. Thank you, Bill. Yeah. So that's how I know Bill.
Right? That's a great story. And thank you for the laugh. So let's Bill, can you list some other things and just let everyone know that this isn't like you're getting high on this, right? So this is you're getting the benefits without the mind altering
psychoactivity. Yeah. So the TH that I make, I developed a process so it just activates the medicinal properties of the THC. It doesn't activate the high, the psychoactiveness of the THC. So it's very effective. I've got up to 96-year-old couple that has used this down to a 3-year-old used it, no high, and very effective for what they needed it for. Actually, the 96-year-old couple, they said they felt like they were 18 again. It was quite awesome. No, it's just the technique that I make the tinctures and the salves with. It just draws out the flavonoids, the terpenes, and the cannabinoids, activates them, so their properties are working how they're supposed to. So there's
your
a lot.
Your body like knows what to do. It is amazing. You can like take a tincture and consciously be like, I need it for this, and the tincture goes in is like, okay, like, and like it heard you. it literally is amazing how he has made it. It's beautiful. Sorry.
Yeah, but the way, so your body with the receptors in your body and how the endocannabinoids float around in through your system, whenever there's a call in an area, it's immediate, just because they're in your system. But they have to be there to begin with. So one of the cannabinoids a lot of people haven't heard about that I make is a CBC tincture. But what it does is actually it boosts our own body, our own endocannabinoid system, making our own body's cannabinoids. But it also speeds up neural stem cell development, brain cell development. It's great for skin issues like eczema, psoriasis, and it works really well for burns. I'm actually doing a test right now. My best friend's just got half of his body burnt here 2 weeks ago. He just got out of the hospital on Wednesday. So I just sent him a great big batch of the CBC topical and sublingual, just for that reason, is because it rebuilds your nerve stem cells on a topical situation and from the inside really fast. So he's been on my tinctures for probably 3 years, just as a maintaining kind of thing. He takes a 1-to-1 just to keep his endocannabinoid system built up. So even in just the week that he was there, they were amazingly surprised at how fast he was healing. For one, they told him he was going to be in the hospital for a month minimum, and so he was out in 8 days. So he's at home now. He's taken picture evidence or picture of kind of day by day of the healing that's going to go on. So I have I'm quite excited about this trial that we've got going on right now, because it's just amazing. What it had done for another friend of mine, and he just had a little burn that he got from a campfire. We were on the fire, and he burnt his finger. So he put the CBC salve on, and he said within seconds it took the pain away. It didn't blister, but the skin did peel in about 2 to 3 days, and it was healed, totally healed underneath already. So that was, I'm quite excited to see what it's going to do for my friend up in Edmonton there.
Absolutely, and I'm sorry to hear he burnt half his body. That's like, ouch.
Yeah, it was a crazy accident, just a crazy accident. For you guys wearing coveralls at work, don't tie your boots tight, because that's how he got burnt, was trying to untie his boots to get his coveralls off. Make them so you can slip them off. Yeah, right. It's I have pictures, but I wouldn't want to show them on here. They're very graphic. I've never seen anything like it. It's
right.
Yeah, it was quite horrible. Yeah, melted both his hands off. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So he did use he had a little bit of CBC salve at home, so he used it on his left hand when he got home, and he said within 10 minutes his left hand was pain free. So, and both hands, he's had skin grafts on both hands, so very painful. He's been in pain. Yeah, it was amazing. So quite excited to see what's going to happen with this.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we've got a few, definitely people excited about this. Make sure you guys like and share this with other people. This is important. This is important that we take our health, our individual sovereignty health, back into our own hands.
That's right.
And really make sure that we take control of it. Yeah. So, and Monroe's saying the same thing here. So yeah, it would be. And Bill, can you explain how pharmaceutical acts as a coating over your receptors? Now the tinctures help deteriorate the coating.
Yeah. So the receptors, what the pharmaceuticals do, they actually just couple over top of the receptor, and then eventually they wash away. As where your CBD or your THC are an actual, like a lock and a key system. The receptor is like the lock, and the THC or the CBD is like the key that fits that lock. So it opens up that receptor and actually activates that receptor to modulate what it needs to modulate in your system.
Awesome. And so like most pharmaceuticals, which mask the problem and then trigger another response within the body.
Exactly.
You need something else to, right?
Causing other side effects. Yeah, exactly. Whereas your cannabinoids, you don't really, very, very, very minimal side effects. I mean, one of them is the psychoactiveness of it, and I've got the THC that does not get too high. And it's been I've made this for 7 years now, very consistently, and it doesn't make you high, but it works very well at what it's supposed to do, reacting with your CB1 receptors. I deal with a lot of cancer patients, so their dosages are usually very high to begin with. So we're talking in a 30 ml bottle, it's 2,500 milligrams of THC in a bottle, and they're on that 4 times a day kind of thing for the first month, just to flood their receptors. But then I also give them same with the CBC. Just because the CBC is about 10 times more powerful at holding back cancer than the CBD is. CBD is still important, just to get into the CB2 receptors when they're needed, depending on the area of the cancer. But also the CBC is helping rebuild them damaged cells as well as hold that cancer back. So the THC can create the apoptotic into the cancer cell, so it can die again and create healthy cells again. And reverse that cancer project, yeah. And also in the meantime, it's making all your other cells and keeping them healthy and strong, so the cancer can't infect them other cells. That's what it does.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and Cindy's asking, can it rebuild your kidney function? I was just given a diagnosis.
Over time, yes, it can. Yeah, over time, yes, it can. Yep. And your kidneys is actually a CB1 receptor area, so you would require, I would suggest a well-made THC and a well-made CBC together. The CBC actually boosts the THC effectiveness in the body as well, and it's going to the CBC is also going to rebuild them stem cells in your kidney to rebuild. Yeah, it works very well. It's not going to be an overnight thing. Most, like, even with cancer, a lot of the cancer
really, yeah. Things started like
3 months,
like little by little, yeah. Like 3 months, you notice a huge thing, but little by little, you start like, oh, I didn't notice that was bothering me until it stops bothering you, and like little things. So, but 3 months is a huge notice. But yeah, right away you notice things. It's crazy.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. And Shay's asking which receptors. Now, I'm not sure which one you're referring to, Shay, but can you just explain the receptor portion again? She's a nurse in the US and has questions.
Which receptors for which, sorry?
For the system.
Oh, for the kidneys, or?
No. So
your endocannabinoid system is CB1 receptors and CB2 receptors. Your CB1 receptors are mainly located in your brain, your central nervous system, some in your bones. Basically there. Your CB2 receptor is mostly your stomach. It's in your heart, but your liver and your kidneys are also CB1 receptors. Now, the main thing to remember is with your CB2 receptor, you need both the THC and the CBD to activate with that receptor. The CBD basically opens the door to let the THC in and do its job, basically, with the CB2 receptor.
Yeah. All right. Perfect.
Now, the CBC deals with your tryptophanol receptors, which is how your body reacts to chronic or acute pain, basically, and it can modulate that in between, as well as rebuild your stem cells. But it deals with your tryptophanol bank of receptors.
Beautiful. And I'm getting fired up at the moment, so I'm being like poked that how actually outstanding this is for us at this time to be able to move forward and take control of our health with these tools that work symbiotically with the system and put the health back in our hands. We control it.
That's right.
So we're no longer relying on an outsource. Yes, this is helpful. Yes, Bill is supporting people with this. But yeah, I'm just super excited about it as well. So
yeah, it's very exciting. I am
whatever resonates with you.
Right?
It's amazing. It's amazing what's going on with this stuff and hearing people's stories and how it's helping them and it's just amazing. The topicals are really amazing. I'm just still fascinated with the THC for pain, sore shoulders, sore joints, sore anything. It is almost immediate.
Tummy cramps.
Almost immediately. Your pain is gone 4 to 6 hours, usually, depending on more the length of time is depending on how strong the pain is. It still takes the pain away, but it depends if it's going to be, how many times you need to apply it. But the thing is, as time goes on, you need to apply it less and less because it's actually going in, repairing the issue that's going on in there and not just masking it forever and ever. So you got to keep taking the Tylenol or Advil or whatever the heck you're taking for your pain, right?
Yeah.
I haven't taken actual prescription, Doug, since 2018. I don't take prescription, and I haven't since then. I do deal with epilepsy right now. I got diagnosed in 2019 with epilepsy, and I maintain my epilepsy with CBD and CBC. So when I was diagnosed, I started having about 2 grand mal seizures a month, as well as being in absent-minded seizures for almost every day, sometimes for days at a time. And so once I figured out how to properly address those with cannabinoids, I'm down to a grand mal seizure once every 3 to 4 months now, and virtually no absent-minded seizures at all. So it's quite a big difference from what it was just with cannabis tinctures. Yeah. So it's quite happy with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such a beautiful service. I honor you so much for the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Al Barmby should just be on here, but he's asking Bill if
I
know. I should have just stepped out and had him come in.
So cute.
Okay, so the full spectrum. So in these stores, you're gonna see a lot of tinctures. They're gonna be called full spectrum, broad spectrum, a lot of things like that. And so what they do with these, they'll take that cannabis plant and all the molecules, the THC, the CBD, even all the terpenes, and they'll pull them apart into their different isolates. And then they'll try to build them back together how they figure they should be put back together. The problem is it destroys what the plant has made already. My process, I just pull it off the plant, how it was put on the plant. The Lord put it there that way for a reason. I read the terpenes in the plant because I do test it, read the terpenes and the cannabinoids that are found in there, and just apply it to the area that it's needed in. Because there's so many areas that it's very versatile. So the terpenes, along with the cannabinoids, the terpenes are the flavors and the smells of the plant, but they also have their own health benefits to each one of them. They'll be anti-inflammatory. Some of them are anti-tumor. Some of them are antidepressant. Some of them help sleep aid. It just goes on and on. So there's actually more terpenes. I think they've over 600 terpenes they found so far now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite crazy. The cannabinoids are getting up there too. I believe it's just up around 100 different cannabinoids with your minor cannabinoids and all that now that they've distinguished in the plant. And we're only looking at 2 of them. So most people, THC and CBD. So there's so many more that they need to dive into properly, but they need to pull it off the plant naturally and look at it that way because it is much more effective. Especially on the medical side. The isolates, they just don't work very well for whatever reason. I think it's the symbiotic relationship that built while it's made while it's growing on the plant. And you just pull that off as one.
Hold that one up so people can see it. And how many are you taking right now? And how many different? So the combination's always made distinctly for the person needing it, but on average there's probably some common overlap that's happening.
Yes.
When I started, Bill started me on a very high dosage regime of CBD, CBC, THC. I would take 1 dropper full 3 times a day of each of them, and I was like very high dosage, so that would deal with my pain, that would deal with everything, like go in and just do everything and just like high maintenance, get her good. And then I started weaning off like really quickly, like about that 3-month mark. And I was like, wow, okay, so I don't need as much. Like, and then I was like, oh my gosh. And then I started learning from Bill, like more, like, for example, like don't take THC before bed if it wakes you up. like, you know, and then take CBD before bed instead, because it'll help you sleep a bit. Like, so like little things to learn along the way, which is why it's so beautiful to have an amazing cannabis health consultant, you know. So get in touch with Bill if you need him, because you need him. Trust me. He saved my life. And endometriosis, for those of you who don't know, is incurable. They tell you it is incurable. You cannot cure endometriosis. I had stage 4, 3 surgeries, and I am cured, literally. Like, I was looking at an old photo today when I actually designed the pants I'm wearing, but I have my scars in the photo, and I can see, and it was like 3 years ago, and you can kind of see a little redness in the scar. Now my scars are gone. Like, you can't see them anymore. So they're gone. Like, I was saying to people, like, it took my scar tissue away. Like, that's crazy. From internal surgeries, like, you have scar tissue, you can feel your scar tissue. It took that away. Like, anyways, magical. Continue.
Beautiful. Tango's asking, what strains do you grow?
The strains I've been mainly using right now are actually strains I've designed from a couple of other different strains. My CBD is it's actually called a Freedom Dream. I use for my pain ones, I use a Sour Kush, works really well for pain. For my 50-50 or very close 1-to-1 THC, I find a White Rhino works really well. And then CBC, I pull off various many different strains.
Yeah, beautiful. And tell us about your expansion and growth plans at the moment, because I know we were discussing.
Oh yeah, things are we just things are getting very exciting. Actually, we just signed a land deal out here in Creston, Kitchener, just west or east of Creston here. Sorry. So we're going to be on there May 1st, breaking ground, doing some surveying to start our building, our warehouse out there, which is actually going to be mainly based around CBC. We've also been in discussion with a company down in Houston, Texas, a manufacturing company that wants to get these products on the shelf ASAP, from what I understand. So hopefully you guys can see this in your areas as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And do reach out and have a discussion if you have any questions for Bill.
Yeah, please do.
On the website via
more than welcome
email.
to call. Another thing that's important to note about the cannabinoids, you cannot overdose on cannabis. It would take, I just looked into this morning. I'd read it a while back, but I wanted to kind of know the numbers. So you would have to take 200 grams of cannabis per kilogram of your weight. So that's almost 7 ounces of pot per kilogram. So if you're 50 kilograms, you would need to eat 50 times 7. So 350 ounces of cannabis at one time to overdose. So
right.
So you guys know you can't. But the Delta 8 or the Delta 10s, now those are synthetics. They are chemically altered CBD to get you high, to get around the legalization. So just remember Delta 8 and Delta 10. Don't take them; they are bad for you. It's just to get around the legalities down in the United States and stuff like that. So just a warning, because they're trying to sell it all over the place and tell you it's this good stuff, and it's not. I've heard it's actually I've heard a couple of kids actually dying from it, from the Delta 8 now. So it's not a good thing.
Yeah. So Cindy, we can't speak directly to this. She's asking, I've been smoking for 30 years, cannabis, I assume. Within the last 8 months, when I run out and can't smoke, I get really sick, vomiting, and headache. It's not normal. It's something being put in it, especially if you're buying it at a government agency or a government regulated, is what I'm getting from that. So yeah, reach out to Bill.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Email me. My email is info@zerohigh.ca. You can also get a hold of me on Facebook Messenger and also on LinkedIn. That almost sounds like a cannabis hypermesis situation. Really watch where you're sourcing your cannabis from. Now, this is my personal how I dealt with cannabis hypermesis syndrome. You're getting told that it's from too much cannabinoids in your body. That can't really happen, actually. It's not able to. The cannabinoids float around in your nothingness in your body and are called upon when they're needed. They don't build up like pharmaceuticals do. So what was happening for me, I changed to a full organic growth system for my plants, so it's growing in basically dirt from out in the forest, and just given clean water, RO water, and that's it. I don't feed them any foods. I just feed the bugs in the dirt that actually feed the plant. So no sprays, no chemicals. And once I've done that, I haven't had a symptom from cannabis hyperemesis symptom since. And I dealt with that since I was 18 years old up till about 2019. So almost 30 years I dealt with that. And that was same thing, vomiting, going to the hospital. They were almost going to cut me open one time, just to see what was going on, because they didn't really know anything about cannabis hyperemesis syndrome back then. So it's a very, very scary. You don't know what's going on. The doctors don't know what it is. But for me, it was from the chemicals that they're growing their cannabis with, the hydro, all that stuff. It's worth it to find a really good organic grower that you can be confident in, for sure.
Yeah, it's the same I say for the mushrooms as well.
Yeah.
So I had a friend who had been buying at a store, and I was like, dude, try these. And I gave him some to try, and he was like, that was night and day. There's no comparison. Because one's clean and pure, and the other is laced with gosh knows what to disrupt the body rather than heal the body. And on the overdose thing, she'll probably my kid, they had a 1,000 milligram gummy, and I said, just take a tiny bite. She was not listening to me and gaming and ate the whole thing.
Oh wow!
She's of legal age now, so not much can happen. But she's like, I think I need to go to the hospital. I'm like,
weed or mushroom gummy?
You're sleeping it off for 24 hours. They said nobody can die from this. So you're just
exactly
getting medicine you need right now, and you're going.
If you have CBD, some good CBD on hand, you can give that to them, and that's gonna tame that down for them. That's gonna tame that. Definitely.
Yeah, she literally slept for 24 hours. So
I bet she did. Yeah.
I'm like, well, you're well rested. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I felt this might be the reason I get it from a shop, not a natural grower. Yeah, that was the first reaction for me too.
Yeah.
So it's more important now than ever to be, and we're aware now. We're learning so much about what works and what doesn't work, and what systems have been manipulated because it's all about follow the money versus the actual solutions for our health. And so in taking this power back and educating ourselves.
That's right.
Bill's happy to share. This is what he's doing. So do check out
education is key. Yep. You need to know why it's going to help, what it's going to do for you, and how much it's going to help you, as opposed to the crap these pharmaceuticals are giving us. It's terrible. But they don't want you fixed. They don't want you healthy, because they don't make any money when you're healthy. When you're not going back month after month refilling them prescriptions, they're not making any money. And that's what bottom line is.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and Tango says, poor Jade. Yes, poor Jade. Let's just say she learned a really big lesson. And a nice safe one at that.
Well, that's right. Yeah, that's right. They learn pretty quick how much is too much, for sure.
Right.
But I think anybody that I've spoke my whole life, and you learn you green out once, you don't want to do it again, so you just don't go there.
Right. It's those lessons that go sideways that teach you, and you never forget, right? If things always go well, then it's pretty easy to go look, that worked out fine. Shay's asking, I'm assuming this will pop a test. So if you were driving and you got pulled over, would you?
No.
What would happen?
No, you can work on it. You can drive on it. You can give it to your kids.
Yeah, you won't be high on it. I have had a gentleman get a test for work or whichever, and it did show up on there. He just explained he was a medical client, and he was taking it as a sublingual, and not actually smoking it. And they were, his company was fine with it. But it probably will show up on a test, especially if you're going to need it for something like a high dose, like for cancer. It's going to show up for sure.
Yeah. And so for getting a job, I would say the same thing, Shay. You want to make sure that, you would explain that what you're working on your health. So there's a really big difference. And if you have that backing with it that shows what it's for, I think it's, if that company rejects you because of it, I would say it's not the right company for you.
That's right. Yeah. And it would only be the THC that would show up on the test. Anyways, I mean, you could take a CBC that would boost your system to build your own to begin with. And that's usually what I recommend first. And then add in after that, because your body's pretty good at taking care of what it needs to take care of, right? So
yeah.
A CBC, I don't know for sure, but I would be surprised if it showed up on any kind of test. Same with the CBD. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And Carmela, can you explain how long has it been since you started, and what are you taking now? How much are you taking now in comparison?
Oh, are you talking to me? I glitched.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
What were you taking at the beginning? And you said you were taking 3 droppers of each.
Mm-hmm.
And then what are you taking now, and how long has it been in between? And then let's chat about costs a bit, so we're really upfront.
Okay, so basically what I started taking when Bill got me on it in the beginning was a dropper full of each. So the droppers basically look.
Oh.
Yeah, it's frozen.
Like 1 mil. And so basically one of those. Oh yeah, I was gonna say we're kind of glitching out. But yeah, one of each of those 3 times a day, and that was like hardcore. And then it has literally weaned right down to. We could joke about like Bill doesn't get return clients because his stuff works so good. So like my stuff's weaned down so much that I barely even need to get it from him anymore, because I just wean it out, and like every once a week, like I'll be like, oh, I could use some energy, I'll take some THC, or I have a bit of pain, I'll take some THC, or I want to have a good sleep, I'll take CBD, or my stomach's hurting, I'll take some CBC or something. Like, so I just kind of take what I need. Like it's maintenance now. Like I literally, my body has filled up all my endocannabinoid system cups and everything, and now I just maintenance to the point where I barely need it, to the point that it's crazy. Yeah.
Beautiful. No, that's good. And Bill, do you want to speak to the costs a bit?
Yeah, sure. Each bottle is $75 a bottle. The salves are $45. If you're gonna, and that's only up to a certain amount of bottles. If you're gonna need, say, like for a cancer client, it's sometimes 8 to 10 bottles. Then the price drops down quite a bit, just because they're getting so much at one time, kind of thing. So it's almost down to $50 a bottle, or sometimes less, depending on the situation and whichever. I do try to work with everybody as best as I can. Canadian, yes, Canadian. And I try to work with everybody. If I could hand it out for free, I would. I can't do it just because I can't afford it. You know what I mean? Right? So I do try to work with everybody. I let people make payments if they need to, or whichever. It's more about getting the medicine into them, getting them healthy, getting them a better quality of life. Even when once they get back healthy, back to work, or whatever the situation is, I've let people wait till then before to get back to a job to let them pay, kind of thing, just to help the situation. It's more about the people to me than I just wish. I just can't give it away for free. Yeah.
No, and we're still needing energy exchanges per se. So
that's
beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. And so that's super. I think it's very affordable. Personally, it's $4.44. Just saying. I just have to say.
I've seen some other websites. I don't like talking down about other websites. I've seen it anywhere from $125 to $300 a bottle. For the same thing. So I can't do anything like that. That's just highway robbery, if you ask me. But that's just me.
Well, and energetically, as we go through this next shift. Mm-hmm. It is about being authentic and sticking to what makes you also feel good, and your authenticity, and so that you really show that when you're speaking. And look at.
Oh, thank you. Well, and I need to build a certain bit of trust with anybody and everybody you're trying to deal with. So I try to be very open and translucent, or whichever you want to call it. I'm not trying to pull any punches. I tell you what I know, and that's all I can educate you as best I can.
Yeah.
I can share you a lot of resources so you can start educating yourself deeper. There's courses that actually once our facility is up here in Canada, we'll also be offering education courses around the cannabis and the biosciences around it, for all the way from growing to making medicines to educating other people medically or medicinally, I guess we call it. The whole area of it. Hands-on growing the whole as much as we can, right?
Yeah.
It's just going to help everybody so much, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I look forward to seeing this, because I just believe in it. And I believe that we're on for a new, it's time. It's time we stand up and shine,
Yeah.
so to speak.
It is.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. And, you know, we don't need the pharmaceuticals, which are all petroleum based, which are not meant to be in our system.
No, they're not meant to be in our system. No, even to the synthetics that they're growing with and all that kind of stuff. Actually, it's quite interesting because Germany, just a week and a half ago, I believe they just legalized for cannabis over there. So, and for some reason, that's putting quite the shift on the rest of the world. For some reason, what they are doing is opening people's eyes a little more. So that I think we're going to see it open up a lot bigger here pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah.
we've got my partner in the UK. He's got a facility over there working on some stuff for us over there. We're also working on with a biosciences lab, which we're also going to be bringing up into Canada here. Which Bill Carrington, he's on LinkedIn there. He's got a biocultures lab down in Michigan. So partnered up with him, and we're gonna bring that facility up in here. So they'll be also educating in that areas too, which is culture sampling, culture testing, basically being able to keep strains alive, create strains with zero disease and things like that and just keep the strains, actually be able to keep them without having to reproduce the seeds all the time or things like that. It's quite interesting. It's a very new technology, so I'm quite excited about what's gonna be going on here.
Right, absolutely. And it's your time to shine through this, because you put in the work. There's something to be said when somebody does something with authenticity and honesty and transparency, that you can't help but, the right people your frequency attracts the right people.
That's
to
right.
it.
Yeah. Manifests, I believe. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and through the whole thing, I haven't ever tried to push anybody or push anything. I just kind of let it fall organically, because if it's going to come, it's going to come, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. As far as
absolutely.
the business side goes.
Yeah. And Carmela, what would you like to share? What else would you like to share with people to help them to appreciate and understand?
Trying not to cry. I don't know. This is such an opportunity, Tanja. Thank you. Because with my show, Cured by Cannabis, I just wanted to tell people, look at how beautiful this is. If you don't know, what it's like to live in 12 years of just the worst pain of your life, you have no life. And so I lived through that, and I was so used to it, and that was my life. And so when Bill was came along and it cured me, I was like, what? This can't be happening. So it's such an opportunity to be on the show and with you, and bring Bill on with me to back my story and be look how amazing he is. Because everyone needs to know this. Everyone needs to hear this. Everyone, we all have the endocannabinoid system, even your pets. You can give this to your pets. It's so beautiful. I'm sorry. I'll be okay. I love
we've healed many of our pets with this. Actually, we've healed a couple of my dogs. We put it on. We have this little puppy. Just got her back here in September. And a week later, the company come over and they had two dogs, and they jumped out and pretty much tore the leg off of this dog almost. So broke the leg in 4 places. It had to be pinned and wired together, and so I just started pumping her full of CBC, and she was up and trying to run around in a week. We had to pin her up so she couldn't hardly move, or because she wasn't supposed to be moving.
So beautiful.
Now you can't even see a scar in her skin. You can't see where it was all stitched. She had a 12-inch stitch down her leg. You can't see any of it. She's running around like it never even happened. Unless I told you, you wouldn't know anything had happened to this pup. Yeah, it's quite amazing. Carmela's give it to, what was that, a hamster you give it to there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was quite amazing what it did.
I'm giving it to my fish. It's like water soluble with the one kind that he makes, and so it mixes into fish water.
Yeah, it mixes into water really nice. Yeah, or juice or whichever. It's very flavorful. Like so, I use a vegetable glycerin base is what I use, so it pulls the terpene profiles of the strains out just beautifully. It's like a cannabis candy drop almost.
It's
it's amazing. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tasty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because some stuff tastes like crap, literally. Like I have tried other kinds. Like it tastes horrible. You're like, what is this? Like grass water, liquid. Ew. Yeah, no, Bill's stuff is literally sweet like candy. I don't know how he does it. I'm like, what? Like that's just cannabis sweetness? Oh my gosh. Like, yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I have no flavor. Yeah, no flavors, no nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Well, the Lord knows what he was doing. I just put it in a bottle for you. That's all I do. So.
Right. Well, we always say nature provides so much for us, right?
That's right. Yep. Yep.
And
and to think we can mimic that is we've got
absolutely. And El Barbie saying cured my dog's kennel cough in days, not weeks. Yeah. Lou's asking, does it work for Tourette's?
Yes.
Okay. There you go.
Autism.
Yeah, the CBC should actually work really well for Tourette's. That's a nerve damage issue. And actually, I've seen that CBD will work really well for that. I've watched a couple of videos of a lady. I've never actually dealt with Tourette's client myself. The lady in the video that I did watch, she took the drops, and within minutes, she settled right down. She could eat properly, just like normal. So yes, it does help.
Beautiful.
Look into it, research it. Yeah, contact me. I can help you figure it out for sure. I'm here for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the best thing, because each situation is so very unique. And yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what I offer. Talking to as many people as I can individually, because I do need that one-on-one relationship to see where you're at, to see what you're dealing with. On a personal level kind of thing, because everybody is different.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
One thing, if I could say, is when I talked to Bill about my situation, it was like the best consultant story I've ever had, because I've told a lot of other doctors my story and they're just like, yeah. And they've always just got something to say or something to write for you. Bill listened. Bill cried with me. Bill was just so kind. So like, he is not like any other. Like, yeah, just you need to call him and talk to him about what's going on for you and what you need for you, because it's so worth it.
Right. Absolutely. Perfect. Yeah. And any help? Have you had any cases of autism that you've seen it help with?
Yeah. I have a 2-year-old boy with autism, and it works very well for him. Actually, he's been with me for about a year now, so he's probably about 3 now. He was on it every month. Now he's every couple of months that they're ordering. But autism is very, very similarly related to epilepsy. So I know quite a bit. I deal with epilepsy, so I've done quite a bit of research on that. CBC and CBD would work amazing for autistic children. And to tell you the truth, any pregnant ladies that are out there listening, please find a source of CBC. Because it is very, very beneficial to you and your baby. It actually, to conceive that baby, your tryptanoid receptors are the main receptors that travels the sperm up to the egg and actually fertilizes that egg, which needs so CBC helps that process tremendously. Plus with the brain formation, your cell formation, all that is just, all pregnant women should be on a form of CBC for sure, and that's cannabichromine. Yeah, it's very, very important.
Beautiful. And, you know, it's not something that's normally said, right?
Right.
So, but we're sharing again what no longer works. And it's, you know, we're in a broken system. So in order to empower yourself for your health, we do need to think outside the box. Tango's asking, would it work on hip dysplasia in a dog?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Beautiful. Yeah, and absolutely. So, you know, I know my
Yeah.
mom.
So in areas like that, I'd put the topical THC just to relieve him of his pain. Give him a CBC because it's going to go and repair them ligaments and them joints in that leg and the hip. Like I say, it's not going to be overnight. The pain should go away with the THC quite quickly. With dogs, you don't want to feed a dog THC because it is about 100 times more susceptible to cannabinoids as we are humans, and horses are another 10 times more susceptible than that. So just very, very small amounts to animals, and usually not CBD or THC. But as a topical, I would. But if it's on his hip, cover it because they do like the taste of it and they want to eat it. Because my dog, he tries to eat it all the time.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And I know my mom has a lifetime of psoriasis. So I would like to,
Yes.
Talk about that after the show. So there you have it, guys. Any last words for everyone? Carmela? You're a lovely soul, by the way. Thanks for sharing and being so vulnerable. Yeah.
Just thank you so much for this honor. I'm literally trying to hold back tears still. I'm just so honored because I used to watch your show a couple years ago, and with my husband and I, we watched all the way through, and then all of a sudden we were looking at each other today, and he was like, "You're going to be up there on the show," and I was like, "What?" I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous. I am beautiful. I got this. I am cured by cannabis, and so it's such an honor because my whole goal is just to tell people that there's hope, that you don't need stupid big pharma. Big pharma is killing you. They're not making it better. There's so toxicness, craziness. I've done a bunch of other shows that you can go back and watch if you want that are kind of categorized as to different things I've been through or whatever. And a couple of them I go through, I look into the drugs, and you can go on to pubchem.org and look it up yourself of all the drugs you're on and research and be your own doctor and be like, oh, this is like corrosive. This is toxic. This is irritant. This shouldn't be inhaled. This shouldn't be taken orally. Like, why am I taking this? And that's what I really just more and more was able to research because I was being cured by Bill stuff, and then was able to start looking for myself and going, what is happening? What was I on? And then that's why I started telling my story and sharing with you all. And I just want to share a piece of hope that you can be cured from things that you may have been told you cannot. Maybe it's just some you were told and you have hope. So that's, I'll leave you with that.
Absolutely. And before we go to you, Bill, I just want to share from an energetic standpoint, most dis-ease within the body is from a trapped trauma or from the environment or what you consume. And so those are really the three ways one has dis-ease within the body. And so when you can start to feel better, you will automatically shift your vibration, your energy, and therefore your whole being becomes more whole, so to speak, as we see with Carmela. And she feels she has been given a second lease on life. Yeah, it truly shows.
If I could add to that, I was just going to say about Bill's stuff basically allowed my brain fog of the drugs from Big Pharma to clear, to help me to see more and more of like, I can breathe again. Like I was underwater, like literally, and I couldn't see, and it was all blurry. And like he brought all that down with like, so the tinctures even allowed me to wean off drugs. If you're worried about like switching from one to the other or just it cold turkey stop, if that's not for you, don't do that. Like I literally didn't know that it would work. And I started taking Bill stuff to the point that I on my own chose to stop taking that hormone drug that it was supposed to be every month. Otherwise my endo would come back. Like they were telling me that over and over. Something they were telling me, something you've been told. Careful what you've been told, careful what you're believing, and then do your research, be your own doctor, right? But love yourself and whatever resonates with you, do that. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think once you start to feel better, it's easier to let go of the other things as well.
Yes. And see clearly.
Yeah. So Bill Shea's asking if you can help with diabetes. And
yes, definitely. Yeah. Type 2 diabetes is just a irregulation in one of the systems in your body. Yeah, that's all it is. Sugar, whichever refined sugar, get away from that. Carbohydrates, even rice, I heard, is actually not really good for diabetes. So get rid of the carbohydrates and the sugars. Get on a little higher of a meat diet, red meat diet like that, and that's going to help you out too.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. Bill, I just want to say how much we appreciate you. And can you just remind everyone, that wants to connect with you? We've got the website, which I'm just going to pop up again. We've got your email. There we go. And so feel free to email. Give him a little space and time to get back to you because he may be already inundated from the chat I'm seeing. So, and just really grateful for you guys to take the time to be on, to share, and look forward to chatting more about this. Yeah, and hit that thumbs up and like and share. It's really important so we can reach more people and share with them that they can take control of their health again, which is really beautiful.
Well, and yes, thank you for having me on. That's what it's all about. And I appreciate you getting me on here to let me share with more people and get some more educational.
Yeah. Oh, there he goes.
So fast. At least you said things. All
right.
Boy, we love you, Bill. We'll bring you back.
Right?
I love you, Tanya. Thank you so much.
Love you too. All right, you guys have a beautiful day.
Love you all.
See you tomorrow at 4 p.m.